What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the farm. So we finally have had a few dry days, been able to get all the dirt tilled. It's going to be a sunny day today, Saturday, so I'm finally going to be able to start getting my garden planted. I'm super excited. It's been about, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 weeks. I've had all the plants going down in my basement underneath a fluorescent light: tomatoes, beans, peppers, some loofah gourds. I've got a bunch of other stuff that I didn't start the seeds. I got carrots that I'm going to plant, I got broccoli that I'm going to plant, and pumpkins. So I'm really excited to finally be able to start getting that stuff in the ground. Got Big Griswold hanging out here with me this morning. So stay tuned. And you'll always be able to tell when it's a garden video, because I'll have on my garden hat. So what I'll be working on this morning is I've got these big hog panels, hog fencing here. We're going to use these stakes to hold them up, and then all of the tomatoes that I have are like a vine variety. So what I'll do is I'll tie them to the hog fencing, which will get put up out here, and then we're also going to use a couple of these to make like arch trellises, and that's what the gourds, and I might end up planting some squash. That's what those will grow on. But so far this morning, what I've gotten done is I've planted a big long row of marigolds. See these little guys here, all the way down this fence row. So there's gonna be a wall of pretty marigolds here, all yellow and orange. And marigolds supposedly are supposed to be like a kind of like a rodent type deterrent. Maybe not rodent, what's the word I'm looking for? Not vermin. Well, you know what, rabbits, squirrels, moles, maybe not moles, but they're supposed to not like the smell of marigolds. So hopefully that'll help keep them from, coming up under the fence, and they won't want to come in and nibble on everything. So now what I'm working on here, I've got these first 2 posts in the ground, and what I'm trying to do is have a tunnel here. There's going to be 2 rows. I think it's going to be my tomatoes. We'll run right down the middle here, and I'm trying to mimic off of the gate here. So what I did was I stretched a string across here. I measured from the fence over here to this post, and then I measured from the fence over here the same distance out to where I put this post. And then now what I've done is I've stretched a string from here to the other side and just touching this post over here. So then I should be able to get these in a straight line. I did the same thing on this side, measured from the corner to the post, measured from that corner out to this post. And then as long as I keep the distance in between these 2 the same, I should have a nice straight line going down here. And like I said, it'll mimic the gate here. And then I might even go and do an arch over top of here and maybe do some of my squash or maybe my gourds and have a little trellis that you walk through into the row of tomatoes. Well, I've got a few posts in the ground, so now you might be able to get a little bit better idea of what I was talking about. So kinda, let me flip the camera around. One of those pieces of hog fencing will hang here, and then the other one will hang here. And so you'll be able to just walk down this row, and there will be tomato plants on both sides of the fence that will vine up, and I'll tie them to the fence, and a little bit they'll kind of just interweave and hang themselves some too. All right, so it pretty much worked out just how I planned for it to. You walk in here, it kind of just mimics the same lines as the gate. We've got both these panels installed here, and then the gourd trellis here down at the end. And if I walk down here and look back down it this way, you can see it just mimics the arch of the entryway. Perfect. Well, I've had about all the sun that I can handle for one day. So we'll finish this up tomorrow, but I'll show you real quick everything I got done today. So I planted my sweet potatoes I got to come up with some kind of way to fix this chicken wire to the top of it. You know, last year my parents did some sweet potatoes and they had lots of problems with the squirrels kept digging them up. I don't have too bad of a squirrel problem over here, but just be safe than sorry. So I got to come up with a way to get that to stay up on there. I don't know if you can see it through the weeds, but I did plant this row of marigolds all the way down this fence line here. This whole row here, I believe this was my Brad's Atomic Grapes. So that's this whole row here. This row here is my Amish Pastes. Another type of tomato, a little marigold down on the end. Marigold on the end here, and then this row here is called the Tappy's Heritage Tomato. And then I did get 6 of the loofah gourds planted, so those will climb up over this trellis, and those actually grow a sponge, you know, like a loofah. You dry the gourd out and then you peel the skin off of it, and it acts just like a sponge. It's real porous. So I got another sweet potato in this one, and got another sweet potato down here and the one on the end. And then I think I've changed it up even since I think I made mention of how I was going to set up the rest of the garden earlier in the video, but I think I've changed my mind on that since. So behind all the tomato rows here across from the entrance, I think I'm going to run my panel for the beans across here in the back, so I'll be able to drag my hose across this way and get straight to the end here. And then I think I'm going to do all of my row stuff, my carrots and my broccoli and my onion sets, I'm going to do along here in this big long open patch. So we'll get back out of here sometime tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, and then there's this little exterior patch that's on the other side of the fence that's in that other little fenced in area. That's going to be my corn patch. That's going to be all sweet corn, and I might do some of that glass gem corn in there too. I'm not really sure. I got to look at the package tonight on what the spacing is, see how much of the sweet corn I can get in there. And if not, I'll have to come up with another place where I'm going to do the glass gem corn. That's a it looks like glass. It looks like a little gems, and it's supposed to be a real good variety for making popcorn. So I'm excited to try that this year. So like I said, we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, bright and early. See you then. Well, it's been a few days since I've been able to get back out in the garden. We had some rain, and then yesterday I was kind of working on some chicken stuff. So I was able to get back out one day, and I got my last tomato panel installed, and then I got this panel here in the back installed for the beans. So today I'm going to be working on, I built another trellis that I'm going to do some more of the loofah gourds on, so I'm going to get that put in place today, get those loofahs planted, and then I'm going to start putting in some of my row stuff. Hopefully I'll get, I don't know, maybe I'll start with the carrots, get the broccoli in, and then depending on how much time I got left this evening, I might try to get some of the corn going in the ground also. This is the simple little trellis that I built today. This was pretty much all stuff I had left over from the chicken coop. And you can see the garden fence here. I used that at the bottom, used another piece of garden fence at the top, and then just used some twine to span the gap in between. So the vine should be able to just climb right up this thing. And then it's just some 2x3s, which is just like the cheapest lumber you can get. They're like $2 a piece. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Stapled the garden fence onto it, and I'll just plant the gourds on either side, and it should climb right up it, and it'll act kind of the same as the trellis that I got going here. Now that the trellis is in, what I'm going to start working on is the carrots and the onions. So what I'm going to do, what I've done here is I've measured off of my hog panel here over 5 feet, and I put a stake in the ground on each end, and then I stretched a string, and I've got this tape measure laying here. The spacing on my carrots is 2 to 3 inches apart. So what I'll do is I'll use the tape to get my spacing, and I'll go right on the line here to make sure I get a nice straight good looking row. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to this is about 20 feet long. I'm going to come down about 8 feet with my carrots. I'm going to leave a 4-foot row, so I'll come out to 12 foot. And then I'll do another 8 feet of onions. And then I'll move over, I don't know, 10 inches to a foot. I'll do the same thing. I'll do another row of carrots down at that end, leave a gap across the middle for a row, and then come down here with onions. And I'll probably do maybe 4 rows like that, and then I'll transition over to, I've got broccoli and I've got spinach. I'll probably do the same thing. I'll do a patch further down, leave a row in the middle, and then do another patch down here. So with these carrots, what I'm doing, I'm spacing them out every 3 inches. I'm just punching a little hole with my finger because it doesn't have to be very deep. And then I'm sprinkling a few seeds into each hole. And what I'll do later is I'll come back, and if there's more than one that's germinated in each one of the holes, I'll just pluck out the weaker ones and leave the strongest looking one. So now what I've done here, kind of like I was saying, I've done 5 rows. I've marked them with the flag to make sure I don't go walking through them before they sprout. So on this side, I have 5 8-foot rows of carrots. And then down here, what I've got is 2 rows of white onions and then 3 rows of red onions. And those are 8-foot rows as well. And then there's gonna be, like I said, a little space there in the middle, so I've got a row to walk in between. Since I had a bunch of extra seeds, I'm also gonna take a swing. I put some of them, the carrot seeds, into these old flower boxes. Carrots like to grow in real loose kind of sandy soil, so they can grow down, they can grow to like full-size carrots. So we'll see if whether or not the good loose soil that ended up in these flower boxes, I did till the garden really good. I did it several times. So there are 6 or so inches of good loose soil over here where I've got these carrots planted, but just as kind of a little experiment, we'll see how it goes in the flower boxes versus in the ground over here. Now the next thing that I'm going to be putting in is going to be, I'm going to do the same thing, stretching the string so I get a good straight row, as I'm going to be doing 2 rows of broccoli. So I've never grown broccoli before, but I've been on a big broccoli kick lately, so I really hope that this goes well. Well, the sun's starting to go down, starting to get a little bit late, so I'm going to go ahead and call that a wrap for today. So I've got all of my tomatoes in, I've got all my green beans in, I've got all of my gourds in. Today I was able to get in my carrots, my onions, and my broccoli. So what I have left is, you can see that patch behind me, that's going to be sweet corn. Up here up front on this side is going to be my peppers. I've got some jalapenos, I've got a couple different kinds of bells. So those are going to go, like I said, up here in this corner. And then I have another variety of corn. I've still got to figure out where that's going to go. That might go up here. I'm not quite sure yet. But be back out here tomorrow. Probably wait till tomorrow to get all this stuff watered in. Hopefully get all the corn planted tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of that, so that's going to take up a couple of hours, I think. And hopefully by this weekend, we'll have everything in. Well, I just got home from work, and it's looking like it might start raining. It doesn't really look like it back that way, but it is kind of spitting here right now. So I am gonna jump on trying to get this corn in the ground, and hopefully I can get most of it done. Hopefully the rain holds off, and maybe I can get a little bit more than that done. Fingers crossed. Now I'm able to do the corn here pretty much the same exact way I was doing all the other row vegetables, the carrots and the onions. Stretching the string to make sure I get a good straight line. I got the measuring tape pulled out. The corn is on a 12-inch spacing, so there's going to be a stalk every 12 inches in the rows, and then the rows are 12 inches apart. So this soil's still nice and loose from when I tilled it, so I'm able to just use my finger, plunge in a hole, trying to get about 2 inches in, drop in my kernel, and just cover it right back up. And hopefully this rain that feels like is coming, it's about 1,000% humidity right now. This rain comes and waters this all in, and I don't have to worry about dragging the hose all the way out here. We'll see. Well, I'm sweating bullets, but I was able to get all the sweet corn in. So there's 4 and some change rows of the sweet corn that I got put in. So that's going to be right at about 100 stalks of sweet corn. And then here's that glass gem corn that I keep talking about. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. I mean, this is what the kernels look like. So now you can imagine, this is dried. So you can imagine before they're dried, they probably have a little bit more of opalescence to them, and a little more shine. So fortunately, contrary to what I was thinking, it's looking like I am going to be able to get all of my corn planted in this patch right here, which is awesome because I don't have another patch prepared. So one less thing to do. Well, thank goodness I was able to stay out in front of the rain. I got all of the corn put in the ground. So I got 9 rows and there's 22 in each row. So that is about 198 stalks of corn planted. And it's, like I said, it's about half sweet corn and it's about half that glass gem corn. And if the weather forecast holds up, it's looking like tomorrow is going to be a washout, so it won't be tomorrow I get back out here. So maybe Friday or this weekend I'll be able to get back in the garden, finish up. All I have left are peppers and spinach, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something else, but I'm pretty sure it's just those 2 left. Well, I'm headed back out to the garden to get my last couple things in the ground here. I've got this little tray of all my pepper plants. So get these put in the ground, and then I'm going to do one little pot of some spinach. Doing a little research, spinach actually doesn't really like hot weather, so it's getting to be a little bit late, I think, to try to start spinach. But I am going to go ahead and do one little pot of it and see how it does, and then I'll probably sow in some more sometime later in the fall, maybe like September, and see if I can't do a fall crop of it. And it's about 92 and sunny right now, so I had to dust the old big hat back off for today. And just like that, with a little movie magic, all the peppers are in. So we'll do I guess we'll do a quick walkthrough real quick before I wrap this video up. So I used cages on the peppers just because I had the cages laying around. So I have, these are called grande jalapenos. Then this is called a Syrian 3-sided pepper. One of the cool things about buying seeds from Baker Creek, which is who I bought pretty much all of my seeds from this year, is they send you a couple freebies when you order from them. So the Syrian 3-sided pepper was one of the freebies. And then same with this next one. This is called a chocolate bell pepper. That was one of the freebies. And then down here on the end is a new one that I'm trying that I'm really excited for. It's called a habanada, which is supposed to be a heatless habanero. So it's supposed to have that real nice taste that the habaneros have, but it doesn't knock your socks off. And then walk through the rest of it real quick. On this far panel, this was, what was this? This was the truffle tomatoes. Then we had the atomic grapes, Brad's atomic grapes. Then we come down here, we had the Amish pastes. Then we come over here to this one, and then this was the Tappy's Heritage tomatoes. Down on the trellis at the end of the run here, this is where we have our half of our loofah gourds in this arch here. And then on this panel back here, this was all of my green beans, which is supposed to be a stringless green bean. We'll see if that holds to be true. We got more loofah gourds going on the trellis that I made over here. And then on this side of the rows, we have 5 rows of carrots. On the far end, we have 2 rows of white onions and 2 rows of red onions. And then in the far long row is broccoli. And then the last thing back here on the outside was where we had all of our corn planted. And then in the tubes, I guess not the last thing, that's the last thing, in the tubes on the corners, that's where the sweet potatoes are. So I guess in about a month or so, 3 weeks or a month, we'll come back out here and we'll do a little update video, see how everything's growing. You know, everything seems like it's taken root. It's been about a week since the tomatoes went in, 4 or 5 days since the green beans and the carrots and stuff went in, and then like the peppers went in today. So like I said, we'll do a little update video here in a couple of weeks and we'll see where everything's at. But in the meantime, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the videos here from Chanyata Farm. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.